Hello, and a very warm welcome to our latest edition of HT Talks. As the exams draw nearer, it is imperative that we have this discussion on what could be a holistic approach to well being during examinations. As we know, academic evaluations are crucial to education, and it is essential for students to approach testing with a sense of seriousness. While a moderate level of nervousness can enhance focus and performance, any intense distress that it may cause is totally unwarranted. In this episode, we are going to chat about ways to make studying less stressful and share tips for a more balanced and supportive exam experience. Our distinguished panelists for the day are Ms. Suruchi Gandhi. She is the principal Bal Bharti School, Dwarka. She has a prolific teaching experience of 38 years and has also received the National Award for Teachers 2021 by the President of India. Also, congratulations, Ms. Gandhi. You have also just been decorated last week with the Excellence in Education Award.
Thank you.
Our next panelist is Dr. Sangeeta Arora. She is the principal Kothari International School, Noida. During the course of her career, Dr. Arora has received numerous honors, showcasing her exceptional contribution to the education sector. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
With us on the panel is also Dr. Himani Narula, who is developmental behavioral pediatrician and adolescent mental health expert and co-founder and director of Continua Kids. A very warm welcome to all of our panelists today. Let us dive straight into the discussion. Dr. Arora, let's start with you. Okay. With exams around the corner, you may often see instances of students and parents coming and reporting heightened stress levels. What specific concerns or expressions do students cite during this period?
You know, when we have very often discussion with our children and the parents, whenever the examination are near and also in the orientation, and the students often share their, their stress level, about their anxiety, about the time pressure when they are there in the examination. The parents usually say, at home the child is able to do everything. I'm so surprised that during the examination why they are not able to perform. So the children, they say that they are not able to manage the time. They also complain about that they are not able to remember. There is a sudden blackout. There is an anxiety in them. There is an increased palpitation. There is a fear of failure that they have in their mind. What if I'm not able to do? And that comes because of the heightened expectation from both the teachers, the parents, and the society. There are too many thoughts at that, in their mind when they're facing the examination. And there is an overpowering feeling that I don't know anything. It's a paper in front of them, and then they say they just have this sinking feeling that they don't know, in spite of it, that they have prepared everything. Lack of preparation also. Sometimes they do say that they have a lack of preparation. And what will happen to their future if they're not able to perform well, especially in the board examination? That's the kind of thoughts that they are there in their mind. And with us educator, we providing support, encouraging healthy study habits, and promoting positive mindset can help address these concerns. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I remember even during our times, my kids, when they were young, we used to also see these challenges of kids saying that we've suddenly forgotten the subject matter, can I drop a year? And, it can be extremely frightful to explore this complex world of student and parent experiences that they are going through during this exam period. Ms. Gandhi, coming to you, could you throw some light on the main factors that contribute to stress that students and parents equally feel during the exam period? Are you on mute? Yeah. You are on mute, ma'am, please. Yeah. Sorry. You're again on mute. Yeah, now you're fine. Yeah.
So I think parents need more education than children sometimes because they contribute to stress. And our school plan is quite preemptive in nature. Adequate career guidance is given to students in advance because if your destination is clear, if you're clear about the goal, then the journey becomes a little easier. That's what I personally feel. And that is how we prepare them through a series of career guidance talks, through counseling sessions, through interaction with alumni that are well placed. Then we have a peer buddy system where children help their own friends, to because children learn faster from each other. And there are remedial classes, there are digital worksheets, there are a lot of online sessions to help them charter their path. But again, I always feel that we as educators are also in a way responsible in putting undue stress on children because everything is so marks oriented, and we always stress upon the fact that exams are the be all and end all of your life. So these things have to be, a basic mindset set has to undergo a sea change, and we have to understand that what is more important is developing life skills, attaining new skills, and merely accumulation of facts or assimilation of some concepts won't help them in life.
Yeah, just to add, I think the main factors that lead to stress, there's a huge amount of peer pressure, you know, that is there. And like you rightly said, there is, of course, this huge expectation both from educators and to from the parents. And as you started by saying that, managing parents' expectation is, I think, a very critical thing. I'll come to, let's just dive deep into, discuss the main factors that create this heightened sense of pressure and apprehension. Dr. Narula, as a mental health expert, do you also find that during this period there is an increased number of in-clinic visits and calls specifically related to exam stress? What are the red flags that educators and parents could watch out for during the year also, and specifically closer to the examination period? You are on mute. Sorry, Dr. Himani, you're on mute.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for that question. You're absolutely right. We do find more phone calls coming in, more inquiries coming in, more parents reaching out for help on how to manage the stressful behaviors and how to take care of children during these phases. And they a lot of time comes with various signs and symptoms which suggest that okay, they may need more than probably counseling, they may need medical support, or they need more kind of a support. So the first thing that we need to know of as and red flags, the educators, the parent, caregivers, whoever is taking care of children, or who all are the stakeholders, they must know some red flags which are very important to keep in mind. One is you will find a sudden change in the behavior of a child. There may be increased irritability, they will withdraw from doing whatever they like doing, they'll try to isolate themselves. There may be some change in their appetite, their sleep patterns, they may sleep at late hours or may sleep excessively or may not get adequate sleep, will be awake at late hours. So there will be a change in the way they eat. They may overeat at times because of the stress, or they may stop eating. They may experience weight loss also at times. There will be a lot of academic decline also. These are general symptoms. There will be sudden drop in their academic performance, and parents will come reaching out, oh doctors, he used to be a good scorer and suddenly now this year he's not focusing at his academics, his studies. What's gone wrong with him or her? They reach out with these challenges. Then there could be emotional instability, like the child may experience a lot of mood swings. They may be very irritable, angry, anxious all the time. They will withdraw from meeting their friends, or they will not go out and for the activities that they usually like doing, their extracurricular activities. And they'll stop maintaining their peer relation. as the exams come closer, uh, the parents can a lot of time find their children working towards extreme perfectionism. They want themselves to do the best, unrealistically high standards that they want to achieve sometimes, which leads to excess anxiety and stress for them, extreme fear of failure, which pushes them to perfection, extreme perfectionism. So that's what you need to look out for. Is the child ready to even take slightly lower scores or marks? You'll find them, oh, they scored less in their pre boards, and they panicked so much that they're not again being able to sit and through their studies. Increase anxiety, palpitations will be there. They'll have symptoms, sweating, excessive sweating. These are signs now. Sweating, headache, trembling. These are signs of excess anxiety. Some of the children, they would experience procrastination, where they will try to avoid, they will try to postpone. Okay, let me do it tomorrow, let me start tomorrow this chapter, this is very tough, let me start it tomorrow. So, and many a times they will be very critical of their own thoughts. They'll doubt themselves, they'll have negative self talk. They'll, I can't do this, I can't finish my syllabus, I am very bad, I won't be able to score, I'll disappoint my parents, those kinds of thinking. So it's, these are the kind of signs and symptoms that the parent can observe, and which should be alarming for them to do something about it.
Thank you, doctor. Very well put. What kind of behavioral, emotional signs and mood changes to watch out for. This has been valuable guidance on the red flags. And, parents, educators, of course, parents need to be really vigilant about watching this. I would say not only in the examination, through the year also, but of course, definitely during the examination period as well. Dr. Arora, we see that burnout in students is common during this period. How do you, as educators, create sensible boundaries within the classroom to avoid this burnout?
You see, our school has taken many steps, and they are very realistic way of doing it. And I'm just listing out those. First one is that there is a realistic workload as per the capabilities of the students. No, the work which has been given to them, the assignment which is given to them, they are manageable, and it is as per the student and not as a journal assignment given to everyone. So it is as per the capabilities and of the students, so that they have that realistic workload with them. The another thing is the clear expectation. So there is not a general expectation from every student. It is according to, there's a talk with them, and then we decide collectively that this is what we are going to have. So very clear, concise expectations are communicated to them, and there is a constant communication between the teacher and the student, so that we can set it up again, and there is always um, um, a chance of revising it again. There is another thing in the classroom, we have regular breaks, because in between, if it is a, see, we have to give 1 hour, 1.5 hour of studies together when we are revising anything, but in between we give the small breaks to them, because the research says that it is needed. And Dr. Himani will agree that a regular break in between is needed for everybody to assimilate what they are learning. If it is continuous, we really, really lose out what we have learned earlier. Then there is a flexible assessment method that we have put it up. So we call it choose your own date, choose your own syllabus when you're giving the examination. It really worked out for ourselves. So if the child is not prepared and they say we cannot do these many chapters, so we ask them, what is it that you are prepared for? We give you that test. So that in a way takes out a kind of a pressure from them. A. B, it also take out that excuse, as Dr. Himani was saying, that they decided we will not do this chapter, we will do this chapter, we will just push it back. So they are made accountable. The choice is given to them. When they have a choice, they feel less burden. This is my experience. Then the time management is being taught to them. We create workshops where this time management is being taught, how you can do it, how the study habits, how the time schedule has to be managed. And also the encourage self-care. We always talk about take a blood test, find it out whether your vitamin D is low. I always say that please find it out if it is low, because if it is low, you will not be able to concentrate. Your hemoglobin, please get it checked. have good food habits. Do not eat carbohydrates more in the night so that you don't feel sluggish. Eat more fruits. Now these kind of a thing, have a regular exercise. Now this kind of a schedule that we wanted to put it up, and this worked well with us. Then mindful practices like when I talked about that they feel blacked out, so we say take you have to learn how to take deep breath, how to just take a time out and have deep breath, so that short meditation exercises to bring back that focus. It worked. And also the reasonable expectation, I already talked about, and both the panelists has talked about. We bring in the parent also, so that we set up. We are not asking you to bring 90% at one go. Let's decide what you can bring right now, and then we will work on it. So achieve the smaller goals, reasonable expectation. They worked, and the balanced curriculum. And
Sure, sure.
hobbies also, you need to play, you need to do whatever you want to do, how you can balance it out. And collaborative learning, which Ms. Gandhi has already shared, that peer no, help. So we set up that buddy system, that one to one, if this child is good in this, you help, and then they work together. And we all know, as an educator, we learn from each other better than as a coming from an hierarchy from a teacher and anybody else. So these strategies we have applied, and it worked well with us. And over a period of time, the students are able to find out their confidence, and the stress level goes down and anxiety goes down. Thank you.
Thanks. Ms. Gandhi, coming to you, while we've heard Dr. Sangeeta talk about, what they do in the classrooms or in the school, would you like to add to it that what are the strategies overall
Yeah.
educational institutes,
Rupali,
employ to address stress?
Rupali, we need to first change our assessment system. And instead of competing with each other, we have to teach children to compete with their own selves. So,
Okay.
longitudinal podcasts where the year wise child's progress is recorded, and the child himself sees how far he's traveled, from his own, what are the milestones that he's achieved. I think that is important because we have to teach children that it is important for you to better your own performance and not compete with others. Every child is unique. you know some children excel in music, others excel in arts, third there may be somebody else who's excelling at sports, and nowadays sports have so many avenues. We have a lot of international players in schools who are doing so well, and they've made a mark for themselves. So it is important to educate children that we should not be caught in this rat race where everybody who gets a 90 plus is an achiever. You have to better your own skills and imbibe not only life skills, because I've always said this at various forums. Why is it that children, even when they make it to the medical and IITs, commit suicides? Why? Because there's no school that teaches them how important it is to face failure, how important it is to accept setbacks, how to react when there's crisis. Sometimes you may have I feel amused. Sometimes parents come to me saying that, change the section of my child. We don't like this teacher. We don't like the friends. So this is escapism. How often will you escape? You can't choose your own boss. You can't choose your own, colleagues. So I always tell them that life will not be a plethora of roses every time. You will be placed in difficult situations with difficult people. The names and faces may change, but human nature sometimes is same everywhere. So you have to teach your children to accept all this and develop as wholesome personalities, not merely robots getting 90 plus and being unable to tackle any pressure, in fact, break in the face of any kind of a pressure. So that is more important. Then, of course, as Dr. Sangeeta rightly said, that giving them piecemeal tests rather than testing them on a whole syllabus, giving them smaller tests and graded assignments, where children, a general kind of an assignment is not given to the entire class. And then, as I said, that home support, having dinner together, having some recreation times, going for breaks, mindfulness, meditation, then some workshops on health and nutrition, because as ma'am also said, children are grossly undernourished, and that is why we see so many of them fainting in the morning assembly every time. So all these factors have to go together to help us create, as educators, balanced, wholesome individuals who can be of use to their families and society and the country at large.
I think very well articulated in terms of holistic well-being during your examination, and as an individual, be competition to your own self. I think that comes first. Secondly, as parents, we have taught our kids to celebrate success, but not how to deal with failures. I think very well said, ma'am. Dr. Arora, has CBSE included any compulsory subject, workshop, or any course in the curriculum that teaches students how to manage stress, and be resilient overall as individuals?
CBSE has a program which is called as Health and Wellbeing Program and Life Skill Development. And in this, there is a particular program which I find it very relevant for the students, and we have done it in our school also, which is Peer Educator Program. Now, in this, there are different themes which are included. That is journey from core values to 21st century skills, and that include the skills which helps the child to face the future in a better way, and that also reduce anxiety, building resilience, because um, AQ and in more than IQ, AQ and EQs are very important. Emotional quotient and adversity quotient, and ma'am will agree with me that that comes with when we are able to build up that resilience in the students. Because if they don't have that adversity quotient, they are not able to face the failure, they are not able to face the setbacks. This kind of anxiety will come to the students and they break down. um, you know Family bonding, like they should know how to have that support system which they are able to develop over a period of time, the friends that they can work for them, the friends whom they can rely on, the family members who can they rely on. The healthy expressions, that is actually about dealing with anger, anxiety, loss and sadness, developing healthy interpersonal relationships, which is very very important, empowering self for digital world, and also preventing themselves from high risk behaviors, and the career choices, which is through the career workshops, because right now our children, they are in such a wonderful world. We didn't have these many choices, but right now they have a plethora of wonderful choices that they can take up by taking different subjects. And also CBSE is now offering the liberal art selection of streams, which is again a chance, which is again a beautiful opportunity for our children, because they can choose, they can have major and minor, and in the colleges they can go for anything what they want to. So there are and also one more thing, which is the pariksha pe charcha, which has been there from the last 4 to 5 years, which has actually brought in for about this anxiety for the examination, and it has come to the surface and everybody is talking about, which is becoming real, and it is not with only one individual student on a forum, or honorable PM, when he's discussing it, it brings a kind of acceptance for the children and for the parents. It is a real thing, we need to tackle it together, and we have to bring our children to that level that they are able to handle themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for listing out the efforts being made by CBSE and policy as well. Let's further explore the impact of more such efforts made on part of that actually students should be making and parents should be making. Dr. Narula, what actionable tips would you offer to students to incorporate healthy lifestyle choices into their daily routine, specifically during the examination season?
Yeah. So, healthy lifestyle is very important, not just during the examination, but throughout the year and all the time, because it not only helps us to be healthy physically, but it also is important for us to realize the emotional health, how healthy we are emotionally, and how we can, as rightly said by both our panel, it's important for the child or the individual to be able to reflect inside how healthy, how we are thinking, how we are feeling, can we put it in words, how do we manage that. So of course healthy nutrition is very important. Children staying at home studying all day, what, I'm also a mother of a teenager and I know how it is. They want to eat something interesting to take a break. At times they want to order something from Swiggy or Zomato to be able to change their mood, or so that unhealthy eating habits can creep up. Sitting all day studying for your exams, you can get constipated, your bowels may not move properly, and you will land up in headaches and inattention. And then you won't be able to focus. Similarly, eating from out junk food or unhealthy food can make you fall sick. Again, your time will be lost because you will be sick and you need to recover from the illness before you get back to your studies. Sleeping is very important. Adequate sleep and at the right hours is important. Sleep not only helps us to stay to recover back, but it also consolidates all the information that the child is reading throughout the day. Some amount of physical activity, sitting all day doesn't help. Many a time when children come and say, doctor, how do we focus, we are not able to pay attention, we are not able to focus, what do we do, how do we study? So I tell them, okay, we used to take physical movement breaks in between our long study hours, and when we used to walk out of our rooms and go to the washroom also, we would think about that particular chemistry table, or that physics formula. Can I recall it at that moment when I'm not in front of the book? So that those techniques help you to recall. It builds your confidence. Oh, I can remember, I studied that 2 months ago, I can still remember that. So those kinds of techniques are effective. Effective time management is very important. They need to schedule their day. They can't just be sitting with the books all day and not really finishing the syllabus or reading anything. So if they make schedule, they break their time slots as to what I'm going to do today, it will help them to be more organized. Reflecting on their goals every now and then. I planned this is how much I could finish, this is what is pending, can I finish it today or not, and accordingly planning their next day. Technology breaks are very important. It's important for the students or or the parents also to know for how long the child is sitting in front of the screen. I know a lot of teaching classes are also happening on screen, and students, they tend to open many screens and they flip between the screens while studying. This is a very, very common challenge, that it is very difficult for them to switch from a social media, fast moving Instagram or YouTube channel to their studies. So what they're watching, are they getting stuck there, are they wasting their hours there? We need to counsel them, motivate them all the time, and we need to keep a lock, or motivate them to stop watching all those social media platforms, to be able to save their time. So that, or even if they need a technology break, it can be something which is not causing too much of eye strain, and it is relaxing them, maybe a small 5-10 minutes break or a educational break. Then last but not the least, very important, is following mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness? Having your mind at the place of the action, or having your attention at that very moment. Now we are having a webinar, we all have our attention at the topic, at the webinar, what we are talking, what we are thinking. Similarly, the child has to be taught about mindfulness, not only in studies but in everyday life activity. If they are eating, they need to eat mindfully, their mind has to be there. If they go out and watch a movie or go out with friends, aren't they mindful? They're mindful, they know the whole story, they learn the dialogues, they know everything, because they are mindful when they are doing that activity. Their whole attention, their whole mind is at that activity. Similarly, we need to teach them to be mindful while they are doing their studies also, so that they finish that little chunk that they're trying to understand mindfully, and they'll do it faster then. Of course, incorporating deep breathing practices. See, we are talking about this at this time of the year during exams, but we need to know that we need to help our children incorporate all these things right from the beginning, right from their early years. How, what is the importance of deep breathing? When a child is throwing a tantrum at 5 years, if we start introducing deep breathing at that time, they will not stress up at teenage or during their exams. Body scan meditation can be done. At times it is the parent or the teacher, less likely for teachers because they spend time in school hours, but parents can do this at home, and they can actually advocate or participate with the child to do it. That helps the child. Sometimes just walking, taking a stroll, taking a movement break. Okay, let's go out for a 30 minutes walk, quiet, in silence, thinking and recapitulating what has to be done and how it has to be done, and relaxing your mind, taking inhaling deep. Sometimes you can do guided imaginary also. You can make the child sit peacefully. Okay, relax yourself on this couch and think about a beautiful place or a beautiful place that you have visited in your life. How are you feeling? How is the weather there? And making their whole body gradually relax. These kinds of techniques, there are many more such techniques which can be followed.
Sure.
There are progressive muscle relaxation, and there are many more techniques which can be followed and taught to the child to practice when they feel stressed up, and parents need to participate and partner in doing these.
Sure. Thank you. I think these tips are really helpful and go beyond academics and are about incorporating healthy lifestyle choices in daily routines, not like you rightly said today, but of course in the early years of for any student or child. Continuing with you, Dr. Narula, how can parents strike a balance to offer a supportive environment? You did just touch upon it, to create a supportive environment without overwhelming their children. Kindly share about what our parent viewers would want to hear from you.
Yeah. So when we want to strike a balance and have create a supportive environment, the first and most important thing is communication. How well and how comfortable is the child communicating with his or her parent? Is the child scared, or is the child, oh, if I say this, I get a lot of children coming out and reaching out to me and saying, ma'am, if I say this to my mom, she will get upset. I don't want to upset her. I don't know. They want to make sure that their parents are impressed and happy with them all the time. Why so much pressure for the child to feel like that? So, as a parent, as an adult, or as a caregiver, we first need to have an open communication. And they should be allowed to express what they are feeling. They should be comfortable expressing, and even sometimes, if they feel, okay, you are not right there, mom, it can't be like that, we should allow them to say that. Because if we cut them, if we don't allow them, they will feel, okay, I am only expected to behave and say only certain amount, give only limited opinion. I'm not allowed to give what I really think of. So first, we as adult needs to learn and practice, make our listening practices and hearing practices strong, so that we can listen to the child. Then realistic expectations is very important. As as Miss Gandhi also said in her part, that the children, they need to look at how they are progressing, not how their counterpart or their buddy is progressing. So are they doing better than what they did? Are they doing better than their previous exam? Are they getting better in whatever subject they were lacking behind? So that setting realistic expectations. Okay, I got 70%, but I am targeting 75 this time. They can't target 90 immediately after 70, and parents should not also burden them with that kind of an expectation. We need to encourage independence, give them the responsibility, not at the time of exam, but right from the beginning. Equip them with the methods to learn to study, but don't sit on their head, or don't sit and just help them with every single task. try and encourage them to be more responsible and independent. That gives them confidence, that makes them feel okay, they trust me with this, so I can do it. Then creating a structure or a routine. I understand for some children it's difficult to structure, to create a routine. Some children are having challenges like ADHD and learning difficulty. There, they need additional attention. But routinely, the children can be taught to structure how they are going to do things, getting organized, because soon after the 10th or 12th grades, they are going to move into professional schools, and learning organization starts much early so that they can settle better there. If they're organized, disorganized right now, how will they settle and get organized in their professional school or curriculum? Encourage healthy relationships with people around in the family. They motivate them whenever they're doing the right thing. uh, you need to reinforce that positively. Don't always talk about their problems or their whatever they're weak at. Instead of that, we also must talk about what they're good at, their good behaviors. We must talk about them. That helps them, motivates them, reinforces whatever they're doing, and gives them confidence. Okay, this got me a praise, that this made everybody, because teenagers, they are always trying to please their parents. Whatever teenager comes to me, I've counseled so many, the first question is that I will not say this to mom and dad because it will upset them, and I've already done so much to upset them that I can't do more or say anything more to make them feel upset about it. So as parents, I think we need to cool down. We need to get back and think of our own days, teenage days, and give our children adequate space, communication, and friendly relationships, so that they can just come up and say anything and everything to us. Whatever their fears and challenges, they should be able to come and say. We have to model right, healthy behavior. If we are saying lies in front of them, we are manipulating them constantly, we are putting sarcastic comments for the children, then it's not modeling right behavior. When I am stressed, I'm coming back home howling at the child, he's going to learn the same behavior. If I am not able to cope up with my stress, my child will learn the same. So we need to first model healthy behaviors for them to learn from us, and must respect individuality. These are all teenagers. We need to treat them and give them adequate respect in whatever they say and do. We shouldn't take them lightly as, oh, tum to bacche ho, tumhe kuch nahi pata. Nowadays, they know a lot more than what we also know at times. So a lot of respect needs to be given.
So
So
there
yeah,
is
I think that's all
that's
from me.
quite a bit. So I think to the parents who are listening to us, parents, your support is crucial. And understanding these tips that Dr. Himani Narula has just listed out can strengthen a child's confidence, definitely, And like she earlier also said, this is not, a short term or anything that can be done today. That's something that needs to be, we need to set up from the early age of our kids. Ms. Gandhi, while recognizing the importance of exam results, it is essential to acknowledge that exams shouldn't be the be all and end all. You mentioned that earlier. How can we build a culture of taking exams as a challenge that helps build a healthy competitive spirit?
Again, as I said earlier, competition has to be with your own self and your past performance rather than competing with others. I remember of a case where I had to counsel a class 12 student who was undergoing through a very difficult phase in his life. And he shared with me that, ma'am, I am going to run away from my home today because my parents expect a 90 plus from me, whereas I am not competent to get 90 plus. And just to gain time, though I'm not a counselor, I just tried to buy some time with him. And I asked him, I said, okay, right, you're class 10, you want to run away. What would you do for a living? He said, I'll do anything. I'll become a janitor, I'll become a bellboy, but I won't go back home. So that was an eye opener. That and the words that he uttered, I still remember. He said, then my parents will know what it is to put somebody in a pressure cooker. I mean, these were the exact words. that the
How
child
sad is
mentioned.
that? Mhm.
And sometimes, as other people have also said, that we try to live our own dreams to our children, and that too failed dreams, where what we could not achieve in our lives, we try to impose it and relive those aspirations to our children, which I think is very unfortunate and unjust, upon them. I remember I had a talk in my school by eminent psychologist Aruna Bhuta, and she gave this little incident, which I often quote during my orientation sessions, is that she says, I had a 3 or 4 year, I think a 4 or a 5 year old child coming to me for counseling. So imagine a 5 year old child coming to you for counseling. Why? What kind of anxiety? She says the child would share with me that, at night I'm sleeping comfortably. In the morning, I hear a harsh voice, Jaldi utho, you know, जल्दी उठो, जल्दी नाश्ता करो, जल्दी तैयार हो, फिर जल्दी बस में बैठो ताकि जल्दी से स्कूल जाना है. She says the moment I reach school, I feel very happy that now, I can sit. And the teacher says, जल्दी लिखो ताकि जल्दी लंच फिनिश हो और जल्दी से आप बैग पैक करो और जल्दी से बस में बैठो. So the child can't cope up with your jaldi, you know. That is a sad aspect of our upbringing as parents, that we have this kind of unrealistic expectations. We don't understand that every child learns at his own pace and as per his own liking. And his likes and dislikes are not of any consequence to us. What is more important to us is that we see them in those cliche roles of a doctor or an engineer. Why don't we encourage unconventional careers? You see, nowadays, their children, I often go to classrooms and I talk to children, and children have some very queer notions what they want to be. I've talked to senior children, some of them say, I want to become a dolphin trainer. The other one tells me, I want to become a dog walker. Now, you see, in India, if parents hear all this, you can imagine the reaction of parents. How aghast they will be, a dog trainer. But there are children who want to be photographers. There are children who want to be marine engineers, explorers. So children have their own desires. YouTubers, now you see, YouTubing is such a blooming profession, and children
True.
want to be YouTubers. So we as adults must realize that children won't cater and they won't fit into those cliche roles that we expect from them. Let us encourage them to follow these unconventional careers. Let us encourage them to follow their passions, to follow their heart, to do things which they like, and excellence will come automatically. See, if you enjoy being where you are, you will be prompted to do your best and give your best. But if you hate your profession, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you can very well gauge the outcome will be very mediocre.
Thank you. I think I think there's so much for us as parents also to learn. That definitely need a shift in our mindset, which is much needed to bring up much happier, healthier kids. My last question to you is to you, Dr. Narula. You did mention when you were speaking about the mindfulness techniques. We do often hear about the practice of positive visualization. How does that contribute to relieving exam stress? And could you give certain instances or talk to our students about what should they incorporate when they visualize positively? What kind of techniques they should follow? You are on mute.
I have a little cough, so I don't want to interrupt others by. So, yeah, so positive visualization is we want the child to be able to visualize themselves as happy, as being able to find that, oh, I'm happy, I'm successful, I'm enjoying, I'm doing whatever I want to achieve in life, I'm there. So, those kinds of visualizations helps the child to feel relaxed, to be able to positively reach out and work towards his or her goals without being stressed and anxious about it. So those techniques can be done. Positive thinking, and saying affirmative sentences, those all methods, they help an individual or a child to be able to uh, conceptualize or materialize whatever their thoughts are, whatever they want to be. By visualizing that, you are creating your thought into reality. You want to convert your thought into reality. So those techniques can be practiced with the child when they come. But an important part is that whenever a child feels stressed, before we talk of practicing too many techniques that the child can do, it's very important for the parents and caregivers to also know that there are a lot of professionals, clinical psychologists, there are doctors, there are pediatricians, developmental pediatricians, even teachers. A child must be motivated and must know that if I feel anxious, I feel stressed out, there has to be at least one person in whom the child has full confidence to go and speak and tell that person what they are feeling. That is very important. And during our routine teachings, our routine classes, and I have seen my own child also having those special connect with some of the teachers with whom they can share a lot of things beyond their curriculum. So that connect, that confidence, that trust that the teachers build in their teenage years also helps them. There will be some things that he may not even come and tell his dad. He may not even have the confidence to come and tell me, but he will discuss it out with his physics teacher and come home and be happy about it. So that's what we want our children to know, that techniques can become complex to do, but what is very easy to do is to communicate, to talk it out with the most trusted people around. Then think about it on your own, analyze what you have been told, and with your own analysis you come to a conclusion. Okay, my father was also saying the same thing, my teacher is also saying the same thing, and oh, you are right, I can go ahead and do that. So that kind of practice has to be built in for our children, that they need to, we when we start listening to them, it is the adults only who need counseling. In my experiences, it is us adults who need to change, who need to learn before we even think of counseling a teenager or even a 5-year old. Why does a 5-year old need counseling? It is the parents who need to be counseled. It is the caregivers who need counseling first, before the teenager or before a child would require counseling. We need to change. It is us who need to learn. So all these complex practices can be practiced, can be taught, can be discussed, but the child has to be taught, okay, when you feel like this, you can come and reach out to us. We are there for you. We are there to listen to whatever you want to say. That is the most
Absolutely.
and the biggest first aid.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this discussion. Thank you all for joining us on HT Talks. The perpetual stress our students face, be it from exams, competitions, or the pressure to achieve unrealistic grades, can be overwhelming. By collectively working towards reducing the stress, we can help children rediscover the joy of learning. As educators, let's build a culture that promotes a safe and positive testing environment, allowing our students to shine rather than stress. Parents, I think most of the talk was for you. Parents must remember that grades are not sole reflection of your child's worth. Please encourage them to discover their passion. And finally, to our students, exams are a part of your learning journey. And while results matter, they are not the be all and end all. Establish a study routine, stay focused, and don't hesitate to seek support from your parents and teachers, even if you are feeling mildly stressed. Remember, you have a network of support around you. Good luck and God bless. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you.